Forgot to turn on the microphone. Anyways, hello, dear travelers. It is I, Altair Deliria, the star inhabiting the abandoned space station, and today we are back with Stellifier. And we will most likely be finishing phrase endings today. Um, we will try to get the good ending in first try. If we don't get the good ending first try, then I'll do what I did with Hawkins. I'll look up a guide and get the good ending this stream so that it's faster. Unless we're already at like the 2 hour marks, in which case I might just be like, you know what, we'll do it. We'll just get it another time. Anyways, I would like to preface this that I will be taking a small break of Stellifier streams um after we get phrase ending. Do not worry, we will get to Michael soon. I just want to take a slight break, check out some new visual novels I've been eyeing recently. They're basically like how you say basically like they are demos and stuff. um yeah, so like I want to check out those visual novels basically, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much my reasoning. Having said that, obviously we're doing this one for night because it has Frey. As for daytime, I think I'll go for the second one. Yeah, yeah, it'll be fine. Stellifier is trending once again. This time, while appearing with one of the most popular podcasts, The Millennium Hour. So far, they've been going on for an hour at the studio, while Lorelei and I are watching off screen. Come to think of it, this might be my first time sitting before a live podcast. Most of the interviews I've conducted are usually off screen, so this is my chance to observe them much more closely in this new environment. Why is my microphone so far from me? What the fuck? Anyways, they do seem much more relaxed now that they don't have to deal with an audience around. Even Frey seems to be willing to speak up more than resorting to his usual carousel of one-liners. Once they hit the hour-and-a-half mark, the hosts John and Nana casually segue from their avocado sandwich chat to Stellifier. So, we're going to finally move on to the segment you've all been waiting for with Stellifier. Yay, Stellifier! 16-year-old me is currently experiencing a renaissance thanks to you three. Seriously, we're so glad you could join us all today. This was kind of a spur-of-the-moment situation too, wasn't it? I actually think it was. We only heard about it from our 5 minutes in. Or 5 minutes in, and I'm already fumbling my words. We only heard about it from a manager this morning. So, that's when you all realized you were going to have to start heading this way, huh? Of course. Although, it wouldn't be the most surreal thing we've done this week. Oh, I'm sure. Even just listening to your new music has been surreal for us too. And look at your image. Where'd my squeaky clean boys go? Oh, my boy. We're still here. It's just Hawkins who needs to be taken outside with the host every now and then. I'm not even gonna deny the allegations. I repeat, where did my squeaky clean boys go? 1 minute you were all dancing and singing in school uniforms, and now I don't think those fit anymore, do they? I think Michael can still fit in theirs. Last time I tried mine, yes. My body here has not changed a little bit. Oh, Michael, do not worry, I will romance you soon. Sorry, Frey. So, You kept your old uniform, but have you kept any other cool Stellifier outfits from the past? Uh, we aren't allowed to keep those. They must be in a vault somewhere as we speak. Or maybe they've burned them by now. They should have at least auctioned them. I could have bid on one. For which one of them? Am I allowed to say? I hear Lorelei stifle a laugh beside me as Nana sits back in her seat, trying to hold onto her secret for dear life. Would anyone's feelings be hurt if she says it? By all means, please go ahead. If it's not me, they will give me full right to bag on the one she does pick. Hawkins is just immediately like, oh, I get to bully someone, yay! Alright! It was Prince Frey. Both Hawkins and Michael burst into a chuckle as Frey is stunned. Seriously? Me? Was it because your favorite color was blue? Actually, my favorite color was Hawkins pink. But come on, you have to know how popular you were back then. You spoke 3 languages, was president of the astronomy club, and you had 0 experience before you got signed because you had raw talent. If that isn't what you call a modern-day prince for the star-loving girlies, then I don't know what is. This might be a bad time to tell them about the time you almost accidentally proposed to someone in Butch Norwegian. Oh, my silly. Oh, now that sounds like the kind of thing that would have made me choose you as my favorite. So, how about you two? How's life been treating you since before this adventure started up again? Well, I was primarily in school and had been working with some producers such as Orpheus and Quicksand ER. I mostly focused on doing sound engineering, arrangements, and some remixing. Oh, wow. Orpheus? Aren't they working with Oracle now? Ew. As of recently, yes. I only worked with them for a few projects for the Cassiopeia network shortly before this. That's impressive. It sounds like you kept up with music even after Stellifier. Music has always been important to me, regardless of which phase I'm in life. At the time, Stellifier represented my transition from academic musical studies to more commercial work. I never considered ever making the jump before. Until they met us. I've always wanted to be in a band, group, you name it. You've been doing music after Stellifier too, right? Overseas I was. After things ended the way they did, I was still itching to make music. So I started traveling around the country, then ended up abroad. Oh, what do you do abroad? Just jammed with whoever would give me the time and place. I didn't have a formal plan at all. All I had was a backpack and my guitar at the time. Eventually, I started streaming some set lists with a couple of friends, so I got to play at a couple festivals. Everything would sort of just lead from one door to the other. And no real plan? The only thing I had in mind was to make music. And maybe get into a little trouble here and there. We've read some of those stories too. Crashing the Airtile runway show for starters. Whoa, I never crashed anything. I was totally invited by some of the models. That's not what you told us, nor how they reported it. Well, I was verbally invited to attend, if you can believe that. Do we believe that? He is fucking Weeball the character. Hawkins my Pookie. That was the first one we got the endings for anyone who wants to go back and watch the Hawking roots. They're there, they're like the first parts. The fact they weren't ready for me to show up isn't my fault. Hawkins, you just contradicted yourself, sweetie. Hawkins, sweetie. I'm just listening to you two and I'm just in awe of how many cool projects you've been a part of all this time. I wish we would have heard about them sooner. Well, now you're all hearing about them now. Hopefully, it also says a thing or two about how much we've got cooking with the new and improved Stellifier. We really are bringing years of musical experience into this project. Go see me today. Yeah. Like a fine wine. We really are as fine as a red wine. That's definitely what we've been catching on. It's kind of refreshing, don't you think? Some people are probably going to be like, look at these guys trying to recapture the glory years. But hearing you three talking about your combined experiences, it's like watching three pros coming back to show the scene how it's done. Hearing that, I can't help but crack a small smile. Having watched them lately, that's exactly what I haven't been able to deny either. They really are like fine wines. Except, knowing Frey, I'm sure he'd prefer to be a limoncello than a wine. Watching without warning, Frey's gaze flickers in my directions as if it read just as if okay. Without warning, Frey's gaze flickers in my direction, as if he just read my mind. Oh, limoncello it is. Get back to watching as Lena finally turns the conversation back to Frey. So, how about you, Frey? Before anything, I think we should admit that we were completely shocked when we first saw the news about your other job. It also ignited a little bit of my college fanfic era, but that's totally a chat for another day. But seriously, a professor? Did you even teach music? Okay, I need to know this. In this world's AO3, how many fanfics do you guys think got posted after the announcement, but not just the announcement specifically, the Frey is a college professor saying? How many of those were ex-readers, and how many of those were some insane like, oh, Hawkins returns from overseas and sees Frey is now a professor, blah, 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 you know? You know damn well what I'm talking about when I say this. You know exactly what I'm referring to. If you do not know, I don't know how you're watching this stream. I'm just gonna say that. So don't lie. I'm with the literature department. Do you teach about stories that have music in them? I actually do supervise a poetry club. Okay, now my fanfic era is having a renaissance too. Please share if you ever write some about this, Prince. Oh god, they would do like reading fanfics on stream. We've been trying to get him to relax a little more when it comes to the fans sending their love. Is it bad that I don't blame him for being a little terrified? I'd say the fans of today can sometimes get a little out of hand, but thinking back to some of the older fandoms... Say no more, we've seen it from the other side. In all fairness, most of our fans are pretty chill. I don't think many of them made the connection that the prince was teaching about fairy tales, though. That's what I was about to ask next. Like, did anyone at school even realize it was you all along? If they did, they never mentioned it. To be fair, we used to have the whole makeup and headgear back then. And my hair was blue at one point. Oh my god, blue hair and pronouns. Sorry. Blue-haired Frey was unironically a peak era in my life. It was for us too. We told him to keep it that way, but nah, he never listens. I'm pretty sure if I'd kept my hair like that, people would have oh, sorry, it's Frey. Oopsie. I'm pretty sure if I kept my hair like that, people would have recognized me more. And you didn't want to be recognized? Not after we disbanded, no. Everyone suddenly goes quiet for a moment as both June and Nana exchange a knowing look. So, in all this time, you just went straight to school and teaching? Pretty much. So, how long after did you stop teaching before Stellifier got signed again? I'm still teaching. Both June and Nana jump in their seats, startling Frey at the same time. Oh, poor Frey, he's like a cat. What now? So, you're planning on juggling both things at once? Well, yeah. For now, that is. Wow, we actually thought you'd already quit before signing with Stellifier again. Falling silent, Frey is suddenly aware that all eyes are on him. Don't put him in the center of this, my poor boy can't handle it. Pronouns man, by the way. So, how's that going to work? Not going to be full-time, if that's what you're asking. Yeah, but what about your future plans? As funny as it sounds, I can't imagine someone calling and being like, hey, I can't perform because I've got a grade midterms. Would your management be cool with that? My management does know, everyone who should know does. He shrugs over to Michael and Hawkins, yet neither of them nod. Oh no! Don't put him on the spot like that. Don't do that to him. Don't do that to him, my poor boy. Yikes. The yarn here just went sour, didn't it? So, can you at least tell us why you'll still be teaching? No disrespect to teachers, but I'm kind of surprised you wouldn't be jumping at the chance to go straight into music again. Or is that not your thing? Well, I've always loved music. That's never changed after all these years. I had some of the best experiences with Stellifier, especially getting to try a different genre of music I never thought would suit me. But after we disbanded, I needed to figure out another life outside of music. Oh. My poor boy, he just wants to be a little professor. He wants to talk about Frankenstein. Even though Dracula is better. It's fine, whatever. None of us are without flaws. Nobody is perfect. So, you went into teaching. I also really enjoy literature. Even back then, I'd never been so recreative about that fact. Oh, so secret, that's an S. That's not an R, that's an S. That's a secretive. I can read. But is that the only reason why you'd want to stay in teaching? Maybe it's me, but it just sounds like a lot to pack on. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I always thought you'd all disbanded because it was just getting to be too much. Sitting back in his seat, Frey holds back a sigh. I'm sure he'd do just about anything to escape the spotlight at this moment. I just hope he can hold on for a little longer. We have to move to another topic soon, right? Are you at least excited for what could happen after the concert, Frey? If all goes well, then what are you gonna do if the world starts demanding for more Stellifier? At that point, I'd be telling my students, it's been a great, but if you miss me, just come see me on stage. Oh, Frey. Frey sits between us. June and Nana share a laugh. Little by little, his spirits seem to be fading, especially when he turns to each of his friends, and neither of them know what to say. Oh, baby, no. Honey. If they're all smiles right now, this is hardly a friendly environment anymore. Ugh, Frey. You knew you were going to ask about it. Still, I can only imagine how much he's regretting this right now. Turn to Lorelei, yet she's the master of keeping a straight face even during the most aggravating moments. She must have a lot to say, but she's surely saving it for when they're back in the studio. I return to the podcast, yet Frey is looking far more distant than ever. Well now, I wonder how many normal people are out there disguised as celebrities. Now that you mention it, that's kind of the trend nowadays, isn't it? The whole celebrities are just like people too? Is that why you want to keep your job, Frey? Just leave him alone about that! My poor boy, leave him alone about that! Leave him alone about that! Oh my god! Ah! Good! Leave! Fuck these people, bro! Without another word, Frey stands up and walks off the set. What? Frey, where are you going? It almost takes me a moment to realize everything once I see him coming this way. Then walks straight past me towards the hall. I love Frey. It's like, I'm leaving. Pookie, come here. Meanwhile, both Hawkins and Michael look at each other, unsure of whether they should move. Not until Lorelei motions to them to keep going that they try to settle back in their seats. Keeping her poker face on, Lorelei addresses me in an eerily serene tone. I should have known this would happen. Frankly, I'm surprised it never has before. Well, if you'll just give me a minute. Oh, wait, I'll go. I'd let you, but I don't think you realize what you'd be dealing with. Who says I don't? In truth, I know better than to meddle in these things. But when it comes to Frey, I get this feeling like he's the exception. Not backing down, I take a step towards the hallway. Please, I'll try to talk to him first. Much to my astonishment, all it takes is one pleading look to Lorelei to change her mind. Her expression not only softens, but also turns into one of an older sister trying to help her younger brother. Fine, go ahead. You've got 5 minutes, alright? Otherwise, I'll go bring him back out myself. 5 minutes it is then. Not wasting time, I rush out into the hall in search of Frey. I don't have to run very far as I find him pacing near the vending machine while muttering to himself. God, why didn't I just say that instead? His voice is filled with regret, even more so when the podcast seems to keep going without him. I carefully approach him, hoping he won't shut me out. Frey, are you alright? I wish. He slumps against the wall, hands to his face. Off the record, I really hate interviews. I think that was something I picked on early about you. Well, I don't mind your interviews. Or any of the ones that don't ask stupid questions. From one reporter to another, I don't think they were asking anything too out of pocket. That said, I don't think they're seeing things from your side, and I know how that can be like. I know what they were trying to get at. It's even worse that they had to bring it up in front of the others. It's not like they haven't been thinking the same thing either. Is that really true? Or is it just something you're assuming? Do you really think anybody is going to tell it to your face if they think you're the weakest link? Oh, honey. There's no no, we're not saying that, that's mean. There's no Stellifier without you, Frey. Neither of you are the weaklings. You hear me? None of you. Altair, I know you're trying to be sweet about all this, but you don't have to sugarcoat things for me. I know what everyone's been thinking lately. If they're not going on about my body, they're either wondering why it seems like I don't want to be here, or if being a teacher is just some silly gimmick for the promo. Okay, so we're going to go kill some people, okay? In Minecraft. We're gonna slay some people in Minecraft. Okay? Okay. Then they realize it's not something I can help about myself. I've just been taught to never raise my expectations too high. I've never been that guy before, not even when we used to be with Oracle. Who else do you think I was trying to study between our recording sessions and events back then? Because I was afraid that one day I would just wake up and everything would be taken away from me. And then what? Who would be left to help me pick up the pieces and move on? You really don't think that the others just blindly asked you to come back without knowing all this, do you? Ray, you can tell how much those two care about you. Maybe nobody's mentioned this during an interview, but anybody can tell how the three of you are like siblings out there. Well, siblings isn't the word I would use, but okay. Do you know how many groups there are where idols just show up to do their part and just go home afterwards? I sure do, because that's who I am. Are you sure? Because most of the talents I've interviewed lately wouldn't be caught sticking around with their buddies for late-night jamming sessions over greasy takeout. Frey, please, just think about this some more. Like you said out there, you don't owe everybody an explanation for what you want to keep teaching. Even if Hawkins and Michael have their own opinions about it, you have to trust that you can all talk about this as a trio. Because they're not just your bandmates, Frey. They're your friends, your best friends. To pretend that your friendship isn't what makes Stellifier special would be lying to yourself. Frey suddenly breaks my gaze as he listens for the rest of the podcast. Even if I wanted to come back, I've already made an idiot of myself just now, haven't I? Who says it's too late for you to come back? If anything, they're probably hoping you will. Between the two of you, Between the two of us, I'm glad you're more of an optimist. If it were just me right now, I'd probably find the nerve to just keep walking away. But that's not what you really want, right? Seeing Frey wavering like this, I'm willing to believe that all he needs is one strong dose of courage to send him back out there. I only have about a minute before Lorelei comes to get him herself. So I better act fast. I'm sorry. I'm just like... I mean, one of these options has to be better than the other. I'm kind of more curious about the second option. I kind of want to see what his reaction's gonna be. Okay, buddy. Hey, buddy, let me just kiss you. Let me just... Frey, what more convincing do you need? What, do you need me to kiss you or something? Okay, it's said in this kind of way. Okay, this makes... Okay, now I understand it a bit better. I was like, just casually like, I'll just kiss you then. At once, Frey stops and seriously sinks it. This dude. Yes. Wait, what? Are you being serious right now? I'm that serious if you're offering. He's like, yes, I would like kiss. Please give me kiss. I mean, will it help? Before I can finish saying it, Frey is already slipping his arms around my waist. I suppose there's only one way to find out, is there? Goodness. The two of us lock eyes, neither willing to back away with how little time we have left to be alone. So, for the time being, Frey brings his lips to Sorry. Sorry, I know this is exactly what we were expecting to happen, and I'm just like, yeah. This is really happening right now. He's not even backing down, but rather pushing for more. And I want to give it to him. All of it. The moment our lips meet, it's electric. Nothing can compare to this feeling, this mesmerizing dance we've somehow commenced. Who knew that walking on a podcast would do things to a man? Every time I think he's done, he starts kissing me like I'm about to be taken away from him. But I'm not going anywhere. Not without him. God, don't go. Frey refuses to stop. Oh my god, I can't talk. I cannot speak. I cannot speak. I cannot speak. Oh my god, let me hold on. I'm just gonna Okay. Frey refuses to stop between kisses, his body only growing more desperate for mine. While we can only do so much in this hallway, nothing keeps us from searching once more for each other. So, is this helping? Plenty. It's not until we both hear footsteps that he breaks from his trance just in time. With one last kiss to my eye, Frey pulls back, panting. We each cover our mouths, our lips still warm and aching for one another. Oh my, I don't think I've ever been kissed like that before. Even he looks shocked like that he went through with it. I steady myself against the wall, waiting for him to say something more about the kiss. Yeah. He looked away for a second, and yeah. Instead, Frey snaps back to his senses and looks over to the set. I should go back there. That was the plan, wasn't it? You know that's what they really want, too. Just as I say it, we both hear footsteps coming this way. I'm waiting for Lorelei to come storming in, ready to haul Frey back. To my surprise, however, it's Hawkins and Michael who make it to us first. Aww. Frey, you're still here. Good grief, we thought you'd left. I thought about it. But you didn't have the nerve, eh? Well, that's the kind of news we were hoping for. Seriously, what happened? I thought you knew that what you were gonna tell them. I sure did, but... But what? Frey, you know that people are going to ask. You can simply tell them that it was your stipulation when we decided to reunite. Well, why didn't you tell them that? Mate, you're the one who should be speaking for yourself, not us. If either of us talked for you then and there, we'd be having a totally different argument. Am I right or am I right, Frey? I can't help but smile just with the little I've heard from them. See, Frey, I do care. Both Michael and Hawkins chuckle in my direction, but it's Frey who is still speechless. See, even old Tara knows we're your angel and your devils, mate. Alright, now we're trying to be your angels. We know how much you hate interviews, Frey, but we also know how much you hate to be talked over. So, what's your poison this time? Now that he's really surrounded, Frey has no other choice but to give in to the friendship in this room, and the love. For the moment, he turns to me and offers me a smile in gratitude. You're welcome, Frey. You're welcome. My heart sits at my throat as I watch them huddle together, just as they have in many concerts before. Alright, let's go back. I'll try not to mess up again this time. As if you messed up before. Between you and me, I think they're up for a little controversy. Just not too much controversy, alright? I don't want to give Lorelei more grief when it comes to dealing with us. Of course not. And besides, we've got to behave while the other angels are watching. The three of them cast a glance at me, their gazes softening at once. Taking this moment in, I simply can't wait to see them back on set laughing about their glory days, and the ones they'll be reclaiming soon. Aww. Oh yeah! Yeah. Okay, what we get was him. Oh, his little talking sprite, oh look at him. Oh, he yap. Okay, what's the message? Oh, no, Snap Bus, okay. Wait, did we see this? Yeah, we did see this. What's the new Snap Bus, huh? Oh, is this it? I guess that must be it. With night settling in, I decide to accept Frey's offer to drive me home once rehearsals are over. Okay, sorry. Actually, I need a moment. I need a moment after that. I need a moment after that. I'm sorry. I need a second. I'm so sorry. I need a second. I'm sorry. I was not expecting that. I was not prepared for that. I was not prepared. I'm so sorry. Just 1 second. I need to return to serenity, peace, calm. Okay. Okay. Now we're... Oh my god. Now we're finally on the... Oh my god. Now we're finally on the way. I can tell he's in much better spirits, knowing that I'm here with him instead of waiting at the station. As soon as I suggested I take the train back, he didn't waste any time directing me to his car. I quietly watch from the window, taking in the cool night air while Frey minds the stoplights. Every so often I turn to him as he pensively rests against the wheel. Do you have a lot of work left as soon as you get home? I don't have anything for tonight. At once he sits up as the light finally turns green. I wait for him to drive straight ahead, but instead... Frey, why did you turn left? Because I know a place. He falls silent again, and this dude's like, date. He falls silent again, a new determination clearly overtaking over him. I sit on the edge of my seat, watching as we speed further away from my neighborhood. Seriously, where could we be going? He never said anything early about having plans, otherwise I would have thought twice. But if he still won't say anything about it, then what kind of surprise am I in for? I have to choose this. What are you doing? The Love Hotel should be that way. Frey almost forgets he's driving as he nearly lets go of the steering wheel. My mistake. Do you think I should do the U-turn here, or should we see if there's another one up ahead? Suddenly serious, he tries to check for which street we're on and how many cars we have behind us. Seriously. Wait a minute, he knew I was joking, right? I think there should be one 2 miles from here I've had to use before. You what? Before? Why is that so surprising? I thought you knew all of us memorized a list of hotels in the city by heart. And of course, the seedier the better if we're going to make a mess of the place, or be keeping each other up the whole night. Okay. Once I can detect the sarcasm in his voice, I can finally breathe again and shoot a look his way. This is a menace. They're all menaces. Look at my little freak. Very funny. Although, I wouldn't be surprised if you really do memorize every hotel. I do know a decent number of them, but for far less nefarious reasons than you might think. But that's still a secret. Seeing that he's still wondering the surprise, I clutch my bag tightly in my seat while keeping track of the streets we're passing through. The handsome face beside me only seems to be focusing on one thing ahead. And that's a Hamel village. Once we get out of the car, I wait for Frey to finally explain himself. Ooh, this is pretty. Hold on. This is pretty. Instead, he keeps looking out into the bustling shops as if searching for something. If he's not going to say anything, then is he really going to leave me wondering if this is a date after all? As it is, there's so many couples around the restaurants and the bookstore, but that's what we get for coming during the peak evening hours. Frey's silence starts to concern me when I notice that he's still looking out into the shops. So, where's the place you wanted to go, Frey? A lot of these restaurants don't look like the kind you can get in without a reservation. It's not a restaurant I'm looking for. It's someone. Someone? My first instinct is to look for the first good-looking person nearby, perhaps someone who'd be a celebrity in their own right. Wait, but what if they're also trying to be in disguise? I start to quickly realize that following Frey's gaze isn't narrowing things down either. Not until I notice some couples looking around at the lights when I spot a woman in an emerald scarf seemingly waiting by a lamppost for someone. Whoa, she's stunning. She keeps looking this way, so does this mean that it's her? Oh, there, I see them. Frey takes my hand and starts walking. I wait for him to start heading towards the woman, but he heads the other way instead of the benches surrounding the main square. Under the twinkling lights, he scopes through each of the benches, his hand still tight on mine. Moments later, he finally settles upon a bench where a man bundled up in a plaid scarf and hat is watching over his rambunctious little daughter as she tries to take photos on a tiny toy camera. Daddy, smile big, please. Aw, but what if I want to make a silly face this time? Wait a minute, that voice. Is that Arden? Oh my god, it's Arden. I'm sorry, boy. I lean against Frey, trying to get a closer look at the man. Once the light settles upon his face, Arden pulls his scarves down to greet Frey with a smile. I was wondering when you were going to show up. Tonight's run-through ran a little later today. It always does when I'm not there, huh? I'm surprised to see you've brought a guest with you today, though, but I'm all for it. You could say I've brought a little guest of my own. Chuckling, he stops to pose once again for his daughter's make-believe photo. So, this is Harry. She's 3 now, going to be 4 soon. As you can tell, she's currently in her fashion photographer era. And we all wonder where she gets it. Well, if I had it my way, I'd prefer she tread cautiously into those waters. But as it is, if she's not spending time with me, she'll be with Violet while she's editing our promo shots. Violet is Arden's wife. That's right, my wife, my best friend, my everything. The only thing I tell her is not to be my #1 fan. I know this phrase goes silent for a moment while Arden knowingly turns the blind eye. So, Frey, you said you needed me? I had some questions. I just didn't want the others getting ideas. But you still brought Altair with you? He then notices our hands still tied on each other's. While making the connection, Arden still has some fun tormenting Frey a little for it. Ah, so now that you've brought the moral support, will you tell me what's on your mind? Sitting down, we both watch Ari as she spins in circles, trying to take photos of all the stores in sight. Where to begin? I guess the concert's obviously been on my mind, but that's just the usual, isn't it? You tell me. My back. It hurts. While it's always normal to be nervous before the big night, I got the feeling early on that it's hardly the start of your situation. Was it ever going to be after what our last concert had looked like? Last concert? I thought you'd all disbanded before you finished that tour. That's exactly it. Still have memories of that morning, even they're just in the shadows nowadays. I can even remember Hawkins kept yelling for me down the hall, assuring me that they'd find a way to let them postpone it, that he and Michael would talk to Oracle and explain the situation. But by then, I knew that we were finished. Well, they were down a person in the aftermath. You really think they would have gone on without you that day? If they had, then maybe I wouldn't have lived with this guilt for so long. I still think they should have gone on without me, even if I would have hated them for it then. You don't mean that, Frey. If you don't believe me, then just look at what you 3 have managed to accomplish in such a short time. When you called me that day asking for a way back into all this, why do you think I offered to talk to Lorelei for you? If you've ever thought that I'd done it out of pity, and here's my chance to tell you that you had nothing to do with it, then what do you see in me? And in Stellifier? Arden sits back in thought, his gaze drifting to Ari. Even she notices her father growing silent, so she tugs at his sleeve. Addie, do you want a photo? Why don't you take one of your Uncle Frey? Tell him to smile big for the camera. Ari doesn't need to be told twice to aim her camera at Frey. Smile big, Uncle Frey, just like Daddy. Please tell me she knows I'm not really her uncle. She knows that family isn't just for those related by blood. She knows the rest of the Soteria guys would also do anything for her if I can't. With nowhere to escape, Frey offers her an awkward smile and holds still. Harry pretends to click the camera, then victoriously races back to Warden. Look, Daddy, look! Uncle Frey made a big smile like you. So he did. He happens to be quite good at taking photos. Just like you, Daddy. Now, you know I only look good because Mommy is so good at editing my photos. Oh, please. Your first single came with all those shoddy Polaroids, and everyone still thought you were some post-punk prince straight out of a fairy tale. I also recall the same happening with you. Right when every agency was debuting their idols left and right, you'd think the Stellifier would have just cruised right through without so much as leaving a dent in music history. Also, I'll mention this at the end as well, but, My chronic pain is flaring up really bad now. So I'm going to finish day 4, and I'll save day 5 and the endings for this Sunday. All right, I'll do it then. I'll finish day 4, and we'll finish off Frey's route this Sunday. I will rest. I will rest after I'm done with day 4. I promise. Read when every agency was debuting their idol. Oh, wait, I already did that. But suddenly, it was who everyone was paying attention to. These 3 students was a dream. You mean 4 students? I said what I said. Ooh. There were 3 students was a dream, and then the son of a chief producer of one of the biggest agencies in the world. I remember when people used to claim that it was because of the latter that all of you had a chance at some decent marketing. But for anyone who was ever there in the moment, we all know that wasn't the case. All we cared about was their pure heart and determination. Even when they made you 3 switch from writing your own music to theirs, you 3 still found a way to make them your own. What people stick around for in an artist isn't solely what's pretty when beauty is only skin deep. What the people want to see is an artist who takes the microphone they've been given to leave the world with something that'll touch souls for years to come. So that no matter how long time has passed, our music will still be someone's hope through the darkest of nights and brightest of days. Oops. All we want as artists is to be someone's wings, so they can soar towards the skies of tomorrow. You can tell Frey is so moved right now, even if he doesn't want to show it. I hope he isn't trying to hold his emotions back for my sake. Not when I want to see them too. So, you really think I can do that all over again? Now, after all these years, after thinking that this place would be better off without... You mean like the music industry, right? You mean the music industry, right? Frey, haven't you been listening at all? This world needs Stellifier, the same way they need Soteria and every other artist willing to share their voice out with the world. But as the 3 of you, I can't lie that you are neither the strongest, vocalist, nor dancer. There's just always going to be something about the way Hawkins can wring his passions out that will be his calling card. And when it comes to vocals, Michael is nothing short of an angelic machine. But you, Frey, have the best of both disciplines. While being neither the best nor the worst. The face of Stellifier was never meant to be just some princely mask for you to wear. If Hawkins brings the passion and Michael brings the ethereality to Stellifier, then there has to be someone who can embody the bridge between the heart and the mind. And that's you. The face of Stellifier. Messenger. And what does it say if this messenger might still want to be around the university even after this concert? Have the others given you a hard no about it? Not really, but I can tell they'd prefer if I left sooner than later. But you don't want to leave, Suddenly, I'm beginning to realize why Frey brought me here in the first place. For all those times I've sat there wondering the same thing about myself. It turns out the same thing myself. It turns out that he didn't want to reveal the truth in front of just anybody. Believe it or not, I actually like teaching. When we first started, the most fun I used to have was studying and finding new inspirations for lyrics, and watching Hawkins and Michael take them and come up with these masterpieces almost overnight. Once Oracle took us in, those opportunities became less and less. By then, we were just performing whatever lyrics they generated just to fit one theme after the next. Deep down, I sometimes wonder if that was the moment when everything just snapped inside of me. So you became afraid of what you became. Not just me, but the industry too. If people don't know how to be inspired anymore, how else would we keep this scene alive? How can we even call ourselves messengers anymore? Listening to Frey, I can't help but wonder for how long he's been agonizing over this in silence. Disillusionment. I know it's not what anyone wants to hear from their idols, but it's a real thing. To enter this bright and shiny new world, only to realize that all that makes it sparkle isn't enough to save it from being a cruel facade. Pondering himself, Arden simply looks onto his small daughter, knowing that she's the exact generation that Frey fears for. When you put it that way, it's not a lapse in your commitment that I'm seeing. What is it then? All I see is someone trying so hard to protect everything and everyone, even if it means risking their own happiness. Take that for what you will, Frey. I know you didn't come here to have me tell you what to do. But knowing more of where you're coming from now, I still think there's time for you to grasp what it is when you're really looking for out of all this. For a second, I see a glint of hope cross through Frey's gaze, but it quickly disappears at the next breeze. Much as I know he wanted me to be here with him, I can't help but wonder if he's still holding back from saying more to Arden. Does you clearly go back long enough for him to open up in ways that I have yet to see with Michael and Hawkins? If Frey is looking for someone more to believe in him, then Arden has to be that person for him. As for me, rising from my seat, I drift my hand away from Frey's. What is it, Altair? I'm not saying the first one. We're doing the second one. I'm not just leaving him after this. Leaning into me, Frey reaches for my hand again, and this time tucks my arm under his. Hey, it's okay. We can trust him. In that case, we should ask him about us. At once, Arden plucks Irie and sits her beside him while eyeing us both. Oh, I was suspecting this for a while. How far back? For a while. It sort of crossed my mind when I noticed how you'll always look his way whenever you sing the lines. It's you, always you. It'll always be you. This echo in the starlight and astronomer sky. Oh, my Pookie. Oh, the pain is intense. The pain is high, but my love for him is higher. I didn't realize that I was being that obvious. We all rarely ever do, Frey. If you're trying to ask me for my blessing, then by all means, you don't need it. Have you talked to the others, though? Not yet, but that is one thing I wanted to ask about. Back when you and Violet first got together, how did the rest of Soteria take the news? Are you kidding? Aster and Callum were elated for us. Granted, our situation was different. Violet had grown up with us, so she was very much like a sister to them. The only thing they cared about was knowing that I was going to do everything it took to make her choice worthwhile. You say that, but didn't your old management drop you when the news broke out? Oh, that's something I hadn't entirely researched about Soteria before. Sensing a change in their tone, I tried to break up the mood by trying to get Aries' attention. I love that we're just like, okay, little girl, your papa and your uncle are having a serious discussion. Let's go take pictures. The little girl simply smiles at me yet keeps silent, as if knowing that we should both be listening to their conversation. Well, yeah, they did drop us then. Most people get the order wrong of what really happened. When Violet and I first wanted to get married, we knew we had to tell Aster and Callum before anybody else. At the time, they were closer to us than any family we had, and I needed to know if they had any doubts about our plan. It was only until they gave us their blessing, when we went to management about it, and they shut us down flat. Did they say why they did? Well, obviously, it's always going to be about image. It kept going on about how being a publicly married man doesn't exactly embody our no rules, no strings attached theme we have going on with Soteria. That's so stupid. Oh my god, I hate those managers. Fuck those. To be fair, that moniker was just supposed to relate to our music, not our personal lives. Also, no strings attached? Oh my god, gross ass bitches. Like, oh, no strings attached, the marriage is chain and ball, blah blah blah. Oh my god, dear fucking Facebook insults. Sorry. Sorry. Getting married should hardly be a death sentence to anybody's career, let alone just having some kind of relationship. Frey seems to be thinking hard over this, but I have yet to tell if Arden's words have struck the right chord with him. What Arden is saying is something I've heard of other celebrities mention when I've interviewed them. There's so many rules that they have to abide by, even the ones that are written out for them. So while the average person can simply give into their emotions and desires when the moment comes, idols have to get permission to let themselves feel anything. Parasocialism in idol culture is a plague. When it comes to Stellifier, I'm starting to realize that they lost that permission somehow all those years ago. But why? What really happened? I want to ask Frey directly, but he seems so distant at the moment, even while he still has my arm tucked under his. Well, if their earlier chat is any indicator, Frey will tell Arden something if he's willing to listen to him. Real. I suddenly have an idea, so I start by catching Aries' attention. Aerie, do you want me to help you take some more photos? Already excited, the little girl looks up to her father for permission. Go ahead, you two. Just stay nearby, alright? As Aerie hands me the camera, Arden simply clicks on me. I wouldn't be surprised if he knows that I'm doing this for Frey's sake. I guide Aerie over to the other end of the bench, giving those two enough space to quietly talk amongst themselves. While my inner journalist desperately wants to eavesdrop on them, I need to trust that Frey will tell me everything later. Or at least when the time is right. Much to my surprise, I can still hear traces of their conversation above the village chatter and Aries' laughter. So, how serious is it between you two? We're still figuring things out. You know how these things go. Is all the parallels in between? What parallels? Honestly, knowing what I know now, I'm starting to think that this could possibly be the best thing to happen to you. And to him, of course. You have to have at least some faith in yourself in that department. I don't doubt that he brings out something different in me. But once again, it's all these parallels. You know. Oh. You're referring to Abigail. No, not at all. Okay. Altair and Abigail. They're not even alike. And who are you? Oh. Right. Oh no. As soon as I notice Arden sweep a hand through his hair, that's when I start to slowly shift towards the bench. If it's not Abigail he's talking about, then who else could it be? When it comes to situations like these, the way I see it is that you can only count on the fact that you're not the same guy from before. Maybe the Frey from years ago couldn't see the warning signs then, but I doubt you'd let it happen again. Someone please give Frey like a very nice and long vacation. If anything, I could almost trust that Altair would be one of the first people there by your side. That's the beauty of what you could have someday, even if it might not always be the easiest journey to take. I just want to be sure I can protect him from everything that comes with choosing me. Even if he knows what to expect from this life, there's still the fact that I don't know where Stellifier might go after this. I can't even tell if in 2 years' time I'll be back to teaching full-time, or we'll be touring across the country. Well, if the love is real, then it'll come along for the ride with you. I used to worry about the same thing for Violet, but then I realized I was forgetting one important thing. That she is the strongest person I know. You can't let our fears underestimate what you've built with your other half, Ray. I've literally been telling you the same thing when it comes to Stellifier. You got to have faith in them and in Altair. You're plenty lucky that he already has a grasp of what goes on behind the scenes. So, from where I'm seeing, he seems plenty strong enough to fight for what he wants, and to tell you when he can't handle it. Being a prince doesn't mean you're the only one who needs to do all the saving. You're right about that. Oh, I know I'm right. Don't let your past mistakes define you now, Frey. You've learned too much not to let yourself go back there. And Altair won't let you either. At the sound of my name, I turn around and coyly aim the camera at them to let them know I'm listening. Ah, smile big, Daddy and Uncle Frey. With the carefree moods having returned, the two men laughed before posing together for me. I press the plastic button so as Aerie mimics the sound of a shutter. I just wished it could have been a real photo. just so I could remember this moment. Sharing a laugh, Arden soon heads over to pick up Ari into his arms. Well now, got to see what Mummy's bought from the bookstore for you. As for you two, if you have any plans to stick around here for longer, I could ask them to fix you a private table at the Tulip House. Just say the word. Frey turns to me, yet he already seems to have his answer. If it's not too late to make a reservation, then we'll take it. I did promise Altair something worthwhile by letting me take him out this way. Consider it done then. You'll make sure to keep things low-key once you step back into the light. With another wink, Arden is off with Ari in tow. The whole way, she won't stop waving back at us with the brightest smile. Aww. Oh, girl. Oh, sweet baby. I'm seeing that what you mean about how she does have his smile. I know I'm right. Even Violet says so. Now if we could just get him to admit to it. Sort of like the way he wants you to admit that you're actually a good artist. Catching my smile, Frey leans in and clasps my hands to his chest. Even beneath these shadows, nothing stops me from making out the same yearning in his gaze as I must be showing him right now. Oh. Right now, I don't want to just be a good artist, but also a good guy for you. What if I told you that you might be that guy for me already? If that's really true, then... Taking my face in his strong hands, Frey angles me to him and lets his lips tease along mine. I'll just have to keep finding ways to remind me all over again. Whether it's with words... Okay. Together, we don't waste this moment for what it is. With the little time we have, our lips are quick to find each other, holding for as long as we can before the slightest sound around us sends us flinching back in surprise. Do you think anyone saw us just now? Maybe they did, but only thought that they were just seeing any ordinary couple. That'd be your dream come true, wouldn't it? Taking my hand, Frey sheds every reservation just to share his smile only with me. It's one of the only things I ask for every day. Oh. Oh. My Pookie. Oh shit. Okay, everyone be normal.
I'm still driving home, but just wanted to check if you made it inside safely.
I'm in my bed, safe and sound.
Guilty as charged. I should have invited you to hang out a bit longer before dropping you off.
I know you're not normal.
Next time for sure then. Well, I won't keep you up any longer. Good night, my little journalist.
Ooh. Oh, his little surprise face. He's so cutesy. I'm sorry, I'm not okay. Okay. Okay, so having said that, like I said, I am going to go take some meds for my pain. And we will finish Frey's route this Sunday. Luckily, this does mean that we will be able to do both endings without issue, with like any time constraints then. But yeah. Other things to look out for tomorrow. I have a stream. I have an Overcooked 2 collab. Fortunately, no Cult of the Lamb, because I have that stream. I know last week I said Cult of the Lamb, but I completely forgot I had a collab scheduled. The waiting room is already up for that. And earlier in the day, I will be in a collab with other Ecliptic Veil members and Zephyr. We will be playing Lockdown Protocol. And I won't be streaming my POV, but I will make sure to retweet any POVs on Blue Sky and Twitter if posted and stuff. I believe Kenpogi will be streaming his POV for anyone who was here the other day when I played, like last week I think it was, that I played Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. That's what I'm referring to. I'm referring to that Ken. But yeah, having said that, thank you for coming, and I will finish Frey Roots this Sunday. Okay. Bye bye, everybody. Oh, right. Sorry. Having said that, leave a like, subscribe, all those things. You've been on YouTube, you know how it goes, and I'll see you tomorrow if you come by to Overcooked, and if not, I will see you this Sunday to finish off Race Route. Okay. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye.